Hi, it's Marcus here, and I want to teach you about what is blockchain and cryptocurrencies. And everybody's having a go at my writing and stuff, but I'm sure you can see the question. What is blockchain and cryptocurrencies? There was no space here, so it is here. Look, very simply put, cryptocurrencies is a new form of digital currency. That's all it is. So instead of me paying with somebody or sending money to somebody, like I can throw it to Emmanuel over there, is I'm going to digitally send it over, and I'm going to do it via something called the blockchain. Okay? Let me give you an example. So everybody's heard of Bitcoin, okay? And you might have heard of Ethereum and Dash and Lisk and Monero and all the others, Cardano, blah, 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 blah. But the most, which 10 years old now, is Bitcoin. Okay, so it's not a new thing, it's been going for 10 years, right? It's not a new thing, it's just that people are waking up to this thing. And if I wanted to, in fact, I did this the other day. I was on the phone and I wanted to transfer some money from the UK over to the US. And they said, certainly, sir. That would take about 3 to 5 days. 3 to 5 days, wow, okay, well, it seems a long time, but okay. Because they, 3 to 5 working days, that's just standard, that's what they say. And it's gonna cost you, because I am converting my pounds over to, I'm sending it over to another country, so now I've got some foreign exchange, right? I'm exchanging my pounds to another currency. So now I've got some fees, some foreign exchange fees. I'm going to do another video on what is foreign exchange and FX, okay? But so I've got that. And then they said, this is weird. They said to me, they said, oh, and by the way, there's going to be some other charges. Do you accept those charges? I think so. What charges? And they said, well, you're not sending it to New York. It's got to go via New York, and then it's going to go wherever you're sending it to. And there's some intermediary banks that are also going to want to be paid. And I said, well, how much is it? They said, well, we don't know. Hold on, you want me to say yes to something, but I don't know how much it is. They go, well, it's going to be roughly like that. So I'm sending this money, and it's like £200, £300, plus something that I don't exactly know. Plus, the banks rip you off when it comes to foreign exchange. Oh my goodness. The only place worse is when you go to the airport. Never, ever change money at the airport. It's the worst place to do it. Anyway, so I'm paying hundreds of pounds for this thing. Now, remember, it takes 3 to 5 days. When I have a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin in my wallet, it's like a real wallet, like this, only it is online or offline. I'll come on to that in a moment. And it's a place to store it, Bitcoin. And let's say Emmanuel, the cameraman, he also has a wallet and he's able to receive Bitcoin. I can send via the blockchain to this other person within 10 minutes, not 3 to 5 days, 10 minutes. Guess what? Because it's one Bitcoin to the other, or a half a Bitcoin or a quarter of a Bitcoin to another Bitcoin wallet, there's no foreign exchange charge at all, so therefore I don't pay anything. I pay something like £5. So when you have something which is cheaper and faster, let me ask you, are people going to use it? And the answer is absolutely. And let me tell you why. Not only do people want to use it because it's faster and cheaper, but secondly, they will have to use it because if you're in business and your competitors start using something which is faster and cheaper, their clients are going to be happier, and therefore you're going to have to do it. So it's like a domino effect. Once the first people start, everybody has to do it. Now, the only other thing I need to quickly explain is what is the blockchain? Okay, because this is a new type of currency, like I said, which is transferred over the blockchain. Why? Because at the moment we have something called a centralized system where the banks or central banks are in the middle. Look, if I send money via the bank to Emmanuel over there has to be a bank who says, all right, you are Marcus, and you are sending £10 or whatever it is to Emmanuel, right? And Emmanuel has received it. Somebody has to write this on a big spreadsheet called a ledger. Just imagine it being a big Excel spreadsheet, okay? And the bank controls that. People don't want banks to be in control anymore because they can manipulate, they can inflate, they can deflate, they can even confiscate. In Cyprus, not too long ago, because they needed money, anybody who had over 100,000, I guess, euros in their bank They reached in, took 40%. They just took it, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. This was in Europe. So if you think it's not going to happen, you don't want somebody in the middle controlling everything. So what happened 10 years ago was Satoshi Nakamoto, we don't know whether it's a person, we don't know whether it's a group of people, said, listen, we don't want this centralized where everybody is in control of us and our money. What we want to do, and by the way, you know when it happened? It happened because of the financial crisis. Because in the financial crisis, the banks lost a shed load of money, and guess what? They were bailed out by us. And who went to prison? Nobody. Which means that they can just do stuff with our money, but there are no consequences. And Satoshi Nakamoto said, enough of this, and that's where he created the first blockchain. And the first blockchain actually is Bitcoin, where he said, we don't want centralized, we want decentralized. So what happens now, instead of there being a bank that verifies it's me and I'm sending the money and he's received it, etc., you have hundreds of thousands of computers around the world. Each one of them has the transaction, but they only have a bit of the transaction. They don't necessarily have all of it because fragmented, cryptos, you can't decipher it, right? So therefore what happens, it's all over the place, and it means that there are this ledger, because there has to be a ledger, big ledger in the sky, but not in one person's control. In other words, the people now control it, not the government. So what it does is I sound like it's a movement, but you know what? It kind of is a movement. It's a backlash to the centralization, which happened in the financial crisis of 2008. That's what this is all about. And it is gaining speed. More and more and more people are actually using the blockchain and cryptocurrencies. And you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to do another video on just the blockchain, just to show you some examples of how the blockchain is absolutely revolutionizing the world. You probably don't even know it, but it's already happening and making your life simpler, making it faster, making it more efficient and cheaper as well. So in a nutshell, that is what is blockchain and cryptocurrencies. But I want to tell you this, what we do is we invest in public companies that are taking advantage of the blockchain. We also invest in cryptocurrencies, or we trade them. Well, actually we do both. We trade and invest in those. And we also invest in something called ICOs and STOs, and those are before they become a cryptocurrency on the exchanges. So imagine getting into Amazon, Facebook, Google, or any of those before they went on the exchange. Can you imagine how much money you would have made? That's what we're looking to do with STOs and ICOs down here. So we're covering STOs, ICOs, cryptocurrencies themselves, and blockchain, and making money in every possible way that we can from this massive revolution that's happening in the world.